I got a little, what's called a portable air conditioner, and they have these like these tubes, and they've got this little rectangle thing that sits on your windowsill. The tube has a little flange or whatever that is kind of rectangle, sits inside that piece that the window sits on top of, etc. Because it does get a little warm back here in the laundry room. I never do a video when the laundry is on. I don't think, maybe once or twice, I don't know. So I'm gonna do a little test here, see how loud this thing is. I got it on low speed. It's nice and cool, working great. I got a little bonus for you right here. See that? What is that? I think that's an ingrown hair when I was shaving the other day, a couple days ago. That is not coming out, it's going down. Gotta love it. Yeah, so listen. Headline. Let me move this. I was going to redo some of my camera mount stuff. It's sitting on top of my monitor. It's actually fine. This is from Reuters. So anybody who invests in the paper scam market crap should be able to know this right now. Should have gotten this and should not let them know where their funds lie, where their retirement is. Because we keep hearing about brokerage firms and stealing money and giving it to pay off margin calls and other crap to other banks, but the customer at the end of the day is the one who's left with the empty bag. So why couldn't anyone who put their money, 401k or otherwise, into some fund handled by some brokerage or whoever the hell it ultimately gets handled by, who's to say that they couldn't take money, your money, gamble on it, on some debt in Europe, lose the gamble, margin call, take your money again to pay them off? Could happen easily. And I'm going to make a bold statement here, or I don't know if I want to call it a prediction because I really don't know if this is going to happen or not. But if it is, you may be hearing it here for the first time ever. That example I just gave with your 401k or retirement funds in it, let's say those companies bet on some debt, because again, they don't want to work off a little few percentages off of the millions and millions of dollars in customers they have. That's not enough. It's not enough. We need to make big money. All the big guys are doing it. We want to do it too. So we'll just take a little money out of our customer accounts, bet on some debt. If we win, great. We keep all the profits. Nobody knows anyways. If we lose, then we don't actually have to tell anybody, because no one's really asking for their 401k all of a sudden. So the few that are, eligible to get it out, no problem. We can put those fires out. We still got a whole massive amount left from the rest of the bozos who thought they had something in here. And we'll just keep sending them a statement, account statement, saying, yeah, you've got, $90,000 in yours, and you've got $120,000 in yours, and the money's there, it's still working for you, etc. But it's just a piece of paper with a printout. Really, they took those funds, bet on some debt in Europe or whatever they bet on in the market, lost that bet, therefore all that money is lost. There wasn't necessarily a margin call because they just lost that bet, and if there was a margin call, they just pulled it out of more customer accounts to pay off the margin call. Now they're in real deep trouble. However, no one really knows, because your money on a piece of paper says they still got it. And last time I checked, you're not due to retire for another X amount of years. No one will ever know. I just have a feeling. That's why I'm telling you this little example that I just made up. Never heard this before. But seeing how everything else works, I don't think that this is out of line at all. And I think that ultimately, when all this crap happens, and think about it, a massive devastating collapse, the dollar dives, massive unemployment, all of a sudden, after that massive unemployment kicks in, all those millions of people who were not qualified as a person to be eligible to take out their 401k, now that they've had a problem in their life, financial problem, they can now qualify for financial difficulties, which will allow them to take their 401k out early with no penalty other than the standard penalties you always have to pay, which are the taxes or whatever. So, and possibly the take it out early penalty too, which is another 10% or so. But they don't care. They just want the money, hard times, big time problem. Then you have all these people who now qualify for a hardship and can go get their money out of the 401k. I think at that point, if we see massive unemployment levels, that's when this little story I'm making up now actually becomes nonfiction instead of fiction. Because then they'll have to say, okay, now these people are asking for the money. We've had it here all along, so we said. We just kept printing out a piece of paper that said they had it. Uh-oh. And they may not have broken any laws. Matter of fact, a judge just ruled of just such a thing. Let me read this to you. Sentinel ruling may hurt MF Global customers. Reuters, a ruling in the case of failed futures brokerage Sentinel Management Group could make it more difficult for customers to recoup money lost in the much larger collapse of MF Global, according to Sentinel's bankruptcy trustee. A federal appeals court on Thursday upheld a ruling that puts Bank of New York Mellon ahead of former customers of Sentinel in the line of those seeking the return of money lost in 2007, the 2007 failure of the suburban Chicago-based futures brokerage. So we actually, everyone talks about MF Global. There was actually one before MF Global, and it was this guy, Sentinel. And then now we've had MF Global. We've had MF Global Part 2 and Part 3, you know, in the news wires recently. So lots more MF Globals to come. And this is a groundbreaking case because this happened in 2007, 2008, 2009, 2011, 2012. We're almost out of 2012, by the way. These people have been trying to get their money back for 4 years after basically MF Global happened to them. And after 4 years, the judge, well, I don't know how, this is an appeal, which probably happened right away. So let's just say it took 3 years, plus an appeal, 4 years, to find out the judge ruled that even though you put your money with this brokerage firm, whatever financial institution, and it was supposed to be in a segregated account, they have the right to take it out of your account, do what they want with it, mix it with themselves, whatever, within the company, bet on debt, use it as collateral for something, such as what this guy did, this Sentinel. They used it as collateral to secure an urgent loan they needed, like a 24-hour loan. We need it now. And they got, okay, well, you're going to have to pledge some funding or some kind of assets. Well, no problem. We've got plenty of assets. Here is here's our funding. We've got some funding here. It just so happens to belong to our clients, our customers. They don't know. Nobody knows. But we're pledging it to New York Mellon, the bank. Company still went bankrupt. The loan didn't do crap. Now they're on the hook to pay that loan back. As per the agreement with that bank, we are first in line of any creditors when and if you go bankrupt. And they did. And they took that asset first, got their money, left them, the company, Sentinel, with a shortfall and bankruptcy looming. But New York Mellon, the bank, got its money. And all the customers are saying, well, we didn't know that. We don't know where the money went. We just know that it was missing. You need to give it to us. Sorry, we filed bankruptcy. But it went somewhere because you had to have taken our funds. It's not like, you know, we had it in some kind of, you know, interest-bearing account. This is like money in our bank account with you guys. So where did it go? Well, now that they sued, and of course now we know after suing where the money went, it went to pay off the loan that New York Bank of whatever that was. What is the proper name of this turd? Bank of New York Mellon. Bank of New York Mellon. That's where the money went. And that is an elitist bank, as you may or may not know. It's not one of the giant ones, but it is, in fact, one of the elite banks. And just like this guy they got paid first and foremost, top of the list of any debt, any creditor looking to collect back their money that's owed. We're first in line. MF Global went down. JP Morgan got that money. First in line, JP Morgan. Clients got screwed. This guy, Sentinel, JP Morgan, clients got screwed. Or this one was New York Mellon. Clients got screwed. How about the MF Global Part 2? The one that we just talked about, PFG Best. Whose dirty hands were in there? JP Morgan got theirs, customers got nothing. And the guy still went to jail. So you know what I say to that bozo? You went to jail anyways, and JP Morgan got their money? You should have told JP Morgan to go screw itself and give your freaking clients the money back, you idiot. You still went to jail. How'd that work out for you? I guarantee that man was talking to people at JP Morgan, and they were probably promising him, look, you know us, we'll get you out of this. You know, you got us backing you. You won't do any jail time. Just make sure we get paid, because if we don't get paid, then we're going to let you rot. Okay. JP Morgan got theirs, and they nabbed him, and 5 days later threw him in jail. He can't claim jail. Oh, JP Morgan that's illegal to begin with, isn't it? Sorry. So here it is again. This judge ruled in favor of this case from Sentinel, which is the same exact case of PFG Best and the same exact case of MF Global, that you customers, your money's gone, the bankruptcy wipes that away, even though they specifically stole your money, gave it to a third-party entity. That entity has the right to keep it, and you don't. Now, if you know anything about the pawn business, pawning something, you go to a pawn shop, and you have a brand new, let's say it was $1,000 TV, they're going to give you $500 for it because they're a pawn shop. But you stole it, so $500 is fantastic for you. So you go ahead and pawn it, they give you the $500, you go about your way. 2 days later, the police show up at the pawn shop. Sir, pawn shop owner, manager, yeah, this TV is stolen. Oh, well, this guy here, I've got his information, he's the one that brought it in. They go and get that guy, the guy who got the $500, bring him back. Oh, I bought it off of Craigslist. I've actually paid, whatever, $250 for it. It was such a sweet deal, I just decided to turn around and sell it. They can't charge him with that. So what ultimately happens is you lost your $250. The pawn shop, you lost your $500 that you gave to this guy. And the person that got stolen from gets his TV back. That's what happens. So the pawn shop doesn't get his money back. This guy doesn't, because if he already spent it, sorry about the pawn shop's luck. That's how it works. And he lost his alleged $250 that he bought off of Craigslist for. So, in that instance, and that's how it works, by the way, that's what's supposed to happen. The pawn shop, you took in stolen property. I know you didn't know, but it was stolen. It's a risk you all take. We caught it. We know it's his. We're taking it back and giving it to the rightful owner. You lose the $500, and that guy who claimed he paid $250 to buy it and sell it to you also loses his $250. No one's going to go anywhere. And what's the ultimate outcome? The person, the victim, the customer, the original guy with the TV got his TV back. That's what's supposed to happen. But in this world, when it comes to financial stuff on Wall Street, that doesn't apply. And it doesn't apply so much so we're going to let it go to a court, ruled in favor of Wall Street. We went to an appeals court, and it also ruled in the favor of Wall Street. And you're going to love some of this wording they use. The appeals court affirmed an earlier district court ruling that the bank had a secured position on a $312 million loan that it gave to Sentinel, talking about New York Mellon, which turned out to have been secured by customer money. Futures brokers are required to keep customers' funds in dedicated accounts to protect them from being used for anything other than client business. However, Thursday's ruling suggests, no, I don't think it suggests, I think it tells you 100%, not suggested. It's a fact. Thursday ruling makes it a fact that brokerages can use customer funds to pay off their creditors. Sentinel trustee Fred Greed told Reuters. I don't think that's what the Commodities Futures and Trading Commission, the CFTC, had in mind with its requirement that brokers keep customer money separate from their own, he said. Quote, it does not bode well for the protection of customer funds. Yeah. And let's see, old J Snip 4, Pastor Dow, Greg Vegas, SGT Bull, God, a million other people, YouTube, the Bozo Club, you know, the Bozo Club of us doing videos out of our house, have no say-so whatsoever in these matters. We're just a bunch of bozos telling people, get your money out of that system. If it's a piece of paper, it's not worth the paper it's written on, you're going to get screwed. Huh? Yeah, I need to say it again. India. We need to come out, I did the video the other day, we need to come out with propaganda to stop people from wanting to buy precious metals and instead focus that attention on putting it into the paper market. That's where we need these people focused on. And does this story, do you think bozos in India, again, same bozos we got here, our top guys, our politicians, our Wall Street, our financial guru, they got the same thing in India, they got the same thing in China, the same things everywhere. Doesn't matter the color of the skin, race, none of it. They're all the same. We need them to have faith in this paper system. I wonder if this story is going to have more people, even in India, whatever, anywhere, reading this, have more faith in that paper system than ever. Now that a court, in an appeals court, has finally made it an official decision. It is now officially their interpretation of the law, both of those courts, that screw you, customer, they can take your funds and use them in any way they want, and including lose them or give them to somebody else for free for any reason, and you are left holding an empty bag. The court has just decided. So I wonder, is this kind of news story good or bad for people thinking on the fence? Maybe should I get precious metals to protect myself? That's the key word that you always hear. Why do people get precious metals? The right answer, protection. Financial protection. Not to get rich. That's not the reason. Financial protection. The outcome is going to be that you're going to make a small fortune regardless. Maybe a large fortune, depending on how much precious metals you have. But the right answer is always protection. Why? Because they can't go to zero. This whole crap that India and the rest of our governments want us focused on, no, invest in our markets. Don't mess with that hard, heavy carrying around gold and silver. Stay over here. But I just read 1,000 stories of people getting raped and pillaged, and now the court has decided in favor of Wall Street that they don't get any money back. Why in the hell do we have this guy who's got this phenomenal degree? He's the finance minister of India, and our guys at, Treasury, whatever, Federal Reserve also. No, that's where you need to invest. Put it in the paper system. Why would they be saying that when that's, when at the same time their mouths are saying it, there's a bunch of news stories and mouths over here saying people just got screwed by doing what you elitist experts are telling us we should be doing. Huh. Worse, Greed said, is that the ruling suggests that a brokerage that allows customer money to be mixed with its own is not necessarily committing fraud or breaking the law. That may raise the bar for proving that MF Global Holdings Ltd, under then CEO John Corzine, misused customer funds as it scrambled to meet margin calls to pay back bets on European debt in the brokerage final days. A $1.6 billion customer shortfall remains today. Corzine has said he did not know about the transfer of any customer money. However, and this is being written right now. Reuters, what date's on here? Let me scroll up here. August 9th. His secretary already said he knew and proved it through emails. So Reuters, good journalist there. Phenomenal journalism on that one. You couldn't have slipped in there, even though his secretary and others proved he did know about it. Yeah, good one there, Reuters. A lawyer for Corzine, who has not been charged with any crimes, did not immediately respond, meaning not the lawyer, but Corzine, who has not been charged with any crimes, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Corzine may still face scrutiny, next headline of the same article. Oh, well, thank God if he's not going to do jail time and get thrown in prison, at least there'll be some, scrutiny he has to face. Boy, I'd rather go in the hole for 30 days in prison than have to deal with scrutiny. Whew. Boy, they're going to stick it to old John Corzine, aren't they? CME Group executive, the same guy who said that they insure these things, who then came out later and said, no, we don't, even though he's on video saying they do. Terrence Duffy, whose firm was MF Global's frontline regulator, has said MF Global made unlawful transfers of customer money to plug its own liquidity needs. I don't know if I'd use that word unlawful anymore. Did you not just hear what the judge in both courthouses, and the appeals court, the regular court and the appeals court, said there was nothing, they didn't break the law. So you may want to retract unlawful. It was very lawful, according to what they just told us. James Catalis, head of the Commodities Customer Coalition, yeah, I'm sure he's for the customer, which has been an advocate for MF Global clients, well, I hope so, said Corzine could still face scrutiny for the transfers. What the hell is scrutiny? Look, since I love doing it live, let me just go type in scrutiny. See what kind of dictionary.reference.com. Let's take a peek at scrutiny. This has to be more brutal than law, or like I said, being the slammer in the hole for 30 days even. Scrutiny. A searching, examination, or investigation. Minute inquiry. 2. Surveillance, close and continuous watching or guarding. 3. A close and searching look. That sounds to me like the kind of scrutiny that he'll get. A close and searching look. Oh, there's John Corzine. He did take that fund from all those customers, $1.6 billion. We've definitely tracked it down. His emails confirm it. Boy, we're scrutinizing the hell out of him, and we're done. So what's the outcome? Nothing. We just scrutinized him. We just did it live. Have a nice day. The Sentinel ruling, this court ruling, is, quote, not an end-all be-all acquittal for Corzine, he said. Oh, really? Okay. Sentinel allegedly pledged hundreds of millions of dollars in customer assets to secure an overnight loan at Bank of New York Mellon, leaving the bank in a secured position, but Sentinel's customers out millions. So you would automatically know if you were New York Mellon Bank, and you told them we need some assets. Now I love how they use that word. They allegedly pledged hundreds of millions of dollars in customer assets. They didn't take a customer's assets. They took the customer's funds, the money itself. So what this should say is Sentinel allegedly pledged hundreds of millions of dollars taken from customers' accounts to secure an overnight loan at Bank of New York Mellon, leaving the bank in a secured position. So New York Mellon Bank would say, oh, we want to lend you money. We need assets. Well, we don't have assets, but we also have money we could show you that we have in pledge. All right, so hold on. We're the bank. You need money, and the asset is not a physical object like most assets are. Like you have a boat, you need a loan on a boat. If you lose out on the loan, we get the boat. House, lose out on the house, we get the house. That's the asset. We're lending you money for this physical object, so to speak. And in this case, we're lending you money for money. Money is the asset, and we're lending you money for money. The asset, money. You would automatically raise a red flag right there and say, if you need a loan, because you're in trouble, obviously, or else you wouldn't need this loan, and you're pledging all of a sudden this money, why do you need a loan? You have the cash. You have the money there. See how that works? I can stop at that point. So, the appeals court said that perhaps the bank should have known that Sentinel violated segregation requirements. That's exactly what I just said. Exactly 5 seconds ago. But agreed with the district court's ruling. So the appeals court and the district court say the same thing, that such a lack of care does not rise to the level of the egregious misconduct needed to reprioritize a claim. In other words, take the money and give it back. Bank of New York Mellon, you knew that they were pledging their client money because they didn't have, the asset was the money. And as a bank, you should also know you shouldn't be giving out loans when other people come to you with money for you to give them money. You're going to have to question, why are you giving me money And why am I as a bank allowing money to be an asset on more money than I'm it doesn't make sense. But it was obvious. But as the ruling said, it doesn't matter if it's obvious. It doesn't matter if that bank in New York cared. And they even knew this was happening. It doesn't matter if they cared or didn't care or knew or didn't know. That's what he just said. Is exactly what he just said. That Sentinel failed to keep clients' funds properly segregated is not on its own sufficient to rule as a matter of law that Sentinel acted, quote, without actual intent to hinder, delay, or defraud its customers. U.S. Circuit Judge John D. Tinder wrote in the ruling. Let me read that again. That was great. That Sentinel failed to keep client funds properly segregated is not on its own sufficient to rule as a matter of law that Sentinel acted without intent or with intent to hinder, delay, or defraud its customers. So taking customer funds by itself, now the way the judge is making it sound is, well, just because they were segregated or not, that act alone isn't good enough. Okay, you're right. Now that the money's gone, and a bank's involved that got the money, and the bank should have never given the loan to them to begin with, because when they saw what the asset was, which was more money, the bank would have known that's coming from somewhere else, and now we don't like the way this is looking, that's a red flag. Now I think there's a little more legal standing. Would you not agree? John D. Tinder, nah, don't think so. Let me just do a little quick search. That name sounds familiar to me for some reason. It almost reminded me or sounded like the guy that was the judge on in the CFTC, so that when people bring a claim against like fraudulent silver activity, he guaranteed that they would never have a finding for the customer. It would always be to the government, that no wrongdoing was ever done. Yeah, I don't think that's the same guy. Now this is in. Oh well, hold on. I just found something here. This is interesting. If this is the same guy. Report on the nomination of John D. Tinder to the United States Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit. Okay, this is him. On July 17, 2007, President George Bush nominated John D. Tinder, nominated him to be a judge on the United States District Court for the Southern District of Indiana for a seat on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit. I don't have to go a step further for you to understand that ruling was a damn lie. This was an illegal ruling, in my opinion. The judge clearly is violating what the law states in ruling in favor of the banks. So if you think a globalist like George Bush or Obama, doesn't matter, right? All these presidents are put into power, and then they elect, or they put people into positions, they select them to go into very key positions, as we all know. Just like Timothy Geithner was put in the Treasury Secretary position to keep the cover-up of LIBOR and other scandals going, without any kind of looking into going after anybody for wrongdoing. They'll just keep covering it up. Now you know why he was put in there. He was selected or appointed by the president. And this guy, this judge, by chance, was appointed by old Dodo Bird Bush Jr. You ever seen Smokey and the Bandit and the Cop, which I think was Jackie Gleason? You know, and he's got his son Junior, and his son Junior is an absolute dodo head, just a dodo bird, right? Junior, hand me my handkerchief. But Daddy, Junior, just hand me the handkerchief. But Daddy, damn it, Junior, right? That's Dodo Bird Bush. That's the same guy. Smokey and the Bandit. It's the same kind of. I mean, you might as well look at our whole political system, and that's what it is. A big TV show like Smokey and the Bandit, a big comedy. So President Bush nominated old John D. Tinder. Are you surprised that he ruled the way he ruled today in the appeals court? There is no rule of law There was no more justice system. Again, it's just us. If this was not New York Mellon Bank and one of the club, right, all these guys and their brokerage houses that they own, if it was not them and it was some bozo like PFG Best that nobody knew about, they'll nab your butt and throw the book at you, just like they did with PFG Best 4 or 5 days after it happened. Nabbed them. John Corzine, I mean, he did the same thing. If this ruling says that they didn't break the law, free the guy. Free the guy from PFG Best. Set him free. He didn't break the law. He admitted cooking the books, just like the rest of these guys. Well, we took the client funds. We never told the clients their funds. You know, if you logged into your account as one of our clients, it always showed you had these X amount of funds in there. So you would have never known we mixed your funds with ours and then lost them. There's no difference what PFG Best did, is there? Set him free. Go wherever he's being held and set him free. He didn't break the law. It was just ruled today. So why is he being thrown around in jail? For God's sake, I mean, he should be, and so should these other scumbags. But for God's sakes, this guy was a nobody with a tiny bit amount of money compared to the rest of these guys, and for that reason alone, I say set him free. Let him go. Incredible. Only in America. Speaking of George Bush Sr., Jr., this ruling, truly American. Truly American. It's one of his quotes.